So I've talked a lot on this channel about what cards you should get and the earning rates on particular categories. But I haven't really made an in-depth video on how best to maximize the points that you get from these sign-up bonuses and general earning as well. It's really something that's ever evolving and changes from person to person based on their different situations. I think it's good to know about some of the potential award redemptions that you can do. Some of the potential best redemption options can get up to 15x cents per point. That's an astronomical number that you shouldn't really focus on getting every time. Rather, a more realistic one is about 2 to 5x cents per point. And if you think about it, if you're getting 2 to 5x cents per point, let's take the Chase Freedom Flex for example. You get 5% on rotating categories with the Chase Freedom Flex. If you get 2 to 5 cents per point, you're effectively getting 10% or 25% back on your purchase. So I'm going to be talking about all this and more in this video, where I'm going to go over the best transfer partners with Chase. This will include the best flights and hotels you can redeem your points for, and how to find the redemption options that will get you maximum value from your Chase Ultimate Rewards points. All right, let's get into the video. So first off, let's talk about the transfer partners that Chase has, right? Chase partners with a lot of the same airlines that American Express, Capital One has. I'll put a picture up here showing some of the common alliances in flights and what credit card points transfers over to each of these individual airlines. As you can see, some of the common ones here are Air France, KLM, JetBlue, and Singapore KrisFlyer, just to name a few. Any American Express or Capital One transfers over to these airlines will carry over as well. However, there is one that's exclusive to Chase. Well, technically built you can transfer over now, but before it was exclusive to Chase, which is World of Hyatt. I've always talked about World of Hyatt on my channel. I think it's by far the easiest travel partner to use Chase points on. In fact, that was my first award booking, just because World of Hyatt is that easy to work with. It's usually possible to get up to 3 cents per point and sometimes even more on your normal bookings. Now, I've probably talked about this example a lot on my channel as well, but just to reiterate for some of the new folks, I stayed in Maui for 7 nights, January of 2022. Now, we needed to look at hotels, and hotels at that time were very, very expensive. I was able to not spend any money on hotels at all throughout the 7 nights with, you guessed it, Chase Ultimate Rewards points. So let's talk about the first 3 nights where I stayed at the Andaz Maui Resort and Spa. Right now, World of Hyatt has off-peak, standard, and on-peak timing. Back then, that wasn't a concept. And also at this point, the Andaz Maui was considered a Category 6 resort, which is 30,000 points a night. Now, I know that might sound like a lot, but the going rate of the room that we eventually booked was $1,000. So doing some quick math, 30,000 points per night for $1,000, that's about 3.3 cents per point. In fact, because of my Hyatt Explorer status, we actually got upgraded to a room with ocean view, so that was a nice perk as well. And probably the rate of that room, if you had to pay with cash, was probably a little bit more than $1,000, so even more cents per point. Now, for the last 4 nights, we wanted to switch it up a bit. We went to the northwest point of the island. So we stayed at the Hyatt Regency Maui Resort and Spa. This one was considered a Category 6, which has pricing of 25,000 points per night. And that one was going for $800. So again, that's around 3.2 cents per point. And you know, because of Explorer status, my room got upgraded a little bit. So just a little bit more cents per point. So this was honestly a pretty simple booking. And you know, I got a lot of value out of it, around 3.3 cents per point. So now let's talk about how you might want to find and book these hotels with World of Hyatt. Okay, so we're on the World of Hyatt website right now. And what we want to do is, maybe let's say you're a Formula One fan and you want to go to the Miami Grand Prix. I believe that's the weekend of May 5th, May 6th, May 7th. So let's say we want to get there a day early and get there on May 4th. Okay, so let's search that up. So we search up Miami, Miami, Florida, and then we want to look at maybe May, so May 4th through the 7th. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to hit use points here, and let's go find hotels. Again, this one room, one guest doesn't really matter. The going rate of all these rooms, even with 2-3 guests, are going to be the same number of points. Okay, so as you can see here, we're already getting great results, right? So this Hyatt-centric Brickwell Miami, is 20,000 points per night, 757 average per night. That's around 3.8 cents per point, I believe. And you can even get better deals here, right? The Hyatt Regency Maui is 12,000 points per night, 543 average per night. That's what, 4.5 cents per point, something like that. Yeah, and this one is a little bit worse. The same number of points per night, but a little bit less if you were to pay cash up front. But yeah, you can see here, there's like a lot of good deals here. Yeah, I think the ones that we saw were probably the best ones, but you can't go wrong with many of these. Okay, but sometimes this is a little bit deceiving because when you click on the rates, maybe all of the award bookings for those nights are all gone and it won't be available. So let's take a look here. Let's take view rates. Okay, yeah, looks like that one's available. So standard room free nights, one king room with a shower and tub, and you can book it for 20,000 points a night. And just to confirm, if you want to just take a look at the normal rates, for that it's going to be $757. But yeah, and also with the introduction of on-peak, off-peak, you can look at the points calendar. You can click on the individual hotel and look at the points calendar, and you can see when is actually considered on-peak and which is considered off-peak. Looks like May is all standard because it's award category 5 and the standard is 20,000. You can see that with this here, right here. This is from the World of Hyatt page. Each category, they're off-peak, standard, and peak pricing. So you can see all that. Yeah, so 17,000. You can see all these nights that are considered off-peak. There's a bunch in July for some reason. Miami in July being off-peak? Okay. But yeah, all these are off-peak. Have yet to see an on-peak. Oh, okay. They subtly advertise this 30,000 points. They don't want saying on-peak pricing. But yeah, that's how you would find an award booking for World of Hyatt. Now, before I get into the domestic bookings, I'd like to take a moment to kindly ask you to like and subscribe, as it really helps to support the channel. Thank you. For domestic bookings, one of the first things that I would consider is using British Airways. Now, hear me out. British Airways doesn't fly domestically in the US, but because British Airways is part of the One World Alliance, which partners with Alaska and American Airlines, you can use British Avios to book flights in the domestic US. For example, any US domestic non-stop flights with American Airlines and Alaska Airlines cost just 9,000 miles per direction, with taxes of only $5.60. Normally with British Airways, there's high taxes and fees and fuel surcharge as well, but because it's domestic, I think that just doesn't show up. Let's take a look at the British Airways portal and see how you would do that. Okay, again, we're on the Avios page. Now for this one, you're going to need to have an account with British Airways. They're not going to let you search for award availability unless you have an account with British Airways. So I'm logged in here, and what you want to do is you want to go to book and then book a flight with Avios. So I'm already here, so let's go take a look. So let's go find a domestic. I'm based in the Bay Area, so let's say we want to take a flight out of SFO. And, let's say I want to go to Seattle for maybe a week. So we can get that. And let's say we want to depart, let's go fly on Friday night and come back, Monday in 1.5 weeks, Monday. Okay, so now we choose economy, one adult, and let's go get flights. So sometimes it takes a little bit to load all of the flights, but yeah, let's take a look. Okay, so it looks like we have some availability, and yeah, let's see. So yeah, you see these two Alaska Airlines, you see these are outbound flights, flight with partner airlines. So you have quite a bit of options actually. So 6 different ones. I don't know if I want to fly at 6 a.m. So let's maybe take this one 17:15, that's 5:15. You can take all of these. So let's just choose this one, 7 left economy. That's the outbound flights. Okay, Now let's take inbound flights. Again, you have so many options. Again, they're all Alaska or American Airlines. Let's say, I have Alaska status, and yeah, I'll just fly out, let's say Monday night. Again, that's going to be around 5. Okay, so now we select those. It's going to take a while to just gather, to just figure out how many Avios you need. Yeah, and now you can see here, 18,000 Avios plus 1120. So yeah, this is pretty good. So you get 18,000 Avios plus 1120, pretty good. Now I will say, SFO to Seattle is probably one of the cheaper ones you can get. So, maybe this isn't the most worth it, but if you can find anything within that sweet spot of like 2 to 5 cents per point, obviously the more the better, you're gonna have a good time. And yeah, you can see there's not too many taxes and fees, and yeah, just cough up 18,000 August. And as far as other domestic flight goes, Singapore Airlines has a lot of partner airlines. Singapore is partnered with United Airlines as well. For longer haul domestic travel, more than 1,150 miles, you might want to look into them. Yeah, it's going to be about 17,000 miles between US and Hawaii, which is pretty good. I think I've seen flights from US to Hawaii be around $400, $500, so you're getting around 3 cents per point on that. Pretty good. And again, that process is going to be pretty similar. You're going to go onto the Singapore KrisFlyer website. Yeah, and you're going to take a look at flights between US, Hawaii, and then you select all of them and they will tell you the prices. Yeah, usually I've found that Singapore KrisFlyer isn't really reliable. It doesn't have the award availabilities, but that is something you can check as well. The next best option for domestic flights is probably Southwest. Now, usually this isn't the best, but sometimes they have promotions where, things are 30%, 35%. I think I've even seen a 50% off. The points you need to book these flights are also 50% off, so you can think of it as a transfer bonus. Sometimes you can get short haul flights for 5,000 points, which is, ridiculous. You're just paying $50. The only way you get $50 flights is, if you're flying from San Jose to Vegas on Spirit Airlines. One sweet spot I will say though is if you have the Southwest Companion Pass, because effectively you're going to get a 50% discount on this. So if you stack it with other promotions that they might be running, you might get ridiculous redemption value and effectively 2x your cents per point. So if you're just getting a measly, 1.4, 1.5, all of a sudden that's 2.83 cents per point. Pretty good. And finally, there's going to be Virgin Atlantic. So Virgin Atlantic is a partner with Delta, and you can use it to fly with Delta domestic itinerary. And since point values are calculated based on distance, you can get really, really good value in flying Delta domestically. All right, cool. So that was it for domestic flights. International flights is a whole different ballgame. There's a lot more great redemptions. That's where you can get your 15x, 20x, dream redemptions, first class, blah, blah, blah. Right. I don't think we have time for that in this video, so I'll cut this short and just do domestic airlines. Now let's go over how to transfer to airlines, right? It's pretty simple. Let's talk about how you're going to transfer hard-earned Ultimate Rewards points to whatever flight partner you want. So let's take a look at the Ultimate Rewards page. So let's go into here, and yeah, you'll see a bunch of these things here. You can just safely ignore all of these. I hope no one ever clicks any of these or redeems any points with these. So let's go to transfer to travel partners. So you can see here I have 2 saved ones, so that would be Flying Blue, Air France, KLM, and World of Hyatt. But there's a lot more here: Air Club, Air Canada, Aeroplan. And yeah, what you want to do is, you can just transfer your points, add your member ID, confirm member ID, and then when you hit continue, you'll have an option to select that travel program and then select how many points you have. So let's go to one where I actually have linked my account. So yeah, World of Hyatt. And important thing to note is that you have to transfer points in increments of 1,000, as you can see here. And yeah, you'll get there and you can transfer them over, and usually it will be instantaneous. Sometimes it can take up to 2 days, but just be patient with that. So sometimes you can even take advantage of promotions that they have. So what promotions means is that you'll get, X% more points if you transfer your Ultimate Rewards points to some airline or hotel partner. Now, this is going to be specific to each airline. So say, for example, they were running a 30% promotion to British Airways, right? So if you transfer 1,000 points, normally you would get 1,000 points. It's usually a one-to-one transfer. With a 30% point transfer bonus, if you transfer 1,000 points from Chase Ultimate Rewards, you're going to get 1,300 points in British Airways Avios. So this is going to increase your redemption value just that little bit more. Now, I will say for these, I wouldn't recommend you, if you see a transfer bonus, that you just immediately transfer it just so you have it in your account. Because these points, once you're in the loyalty program of whatever airline hotel, you can't transfer them back to Chase. They're stuck there forever. And sometimes there's things that, your points will expire after inactivity in 2 years, something like that. You don't want to have your hard-earned Chase Ultimate Rewards points just go to waste. Yeah, and there's probably some domestic sweet spots I didn't cover, but I think, those 4 options that I gave were pretty good overview. Now, I will say if you have a specific one in mind, you can take a look at the website Award Hacker. Award Hacker is definitely a good starting point, but I don't think it should be used as a source of truth. Sometimes there might be better deals based on transfer promos. Sometimes there just won't be any award availability for some of the flights based on the transfer. I'd say from what I've seen, Award Hacker is probably the best free resource that you can have. It's pretty accurate in giving the baseline point values, but of course your miles may vary. There won't be award availabilities, etc. As you can see with some of these domestic itineraries, it's usually never best to book directly with the airline for the airline specific flight, right? For British Airways, we were booking a flight that was done through American Airlines or Alaska Airlines. With Singapore KrisFlyer, we were normally going to be booking through United because that's the only US-based Star Alliance partner. Southwest is an exception there, but then like Virgin Atlantic, you're going to be booking Delta domestic itinerary. So yeah, you can see here a lot of the sweet spots in these bookings are going to be using points from other airlines to book flights from other airlines. So yeah, I hope this was helpful in giving you an idea of how to use your Chase Ultimate Rewards points. I know there's a lot of talk online about how to accumulate points, but there's not too much talk about how you can best redeem your points. So, I hope this was helpful and a good starting point for you to begin your award booking journey. The deals are ever changing, so don't expect the deals I talk about in this video, 3-4 years down the line to be exactly the same, but some of the concepts will still remain the same. Comment down below if you've used Ultimate Rewards or any other credit card currency to get a good deal on domestic flights in terms of award bookings. I'd like to see what I'm missing and maybe educate everyone else watching this video as well. But yeah, now thank you for staying through the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope this was at least a helpful guide in which you can figure out how to redeem your Chase Ultimate Rewards points for maximum value. Happy reward hunting and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.